Chilanga, Converses.
Here we are with our first session of Chilanga Converses, and our topic today is music. We are venturing into the subject of drum and bass.
So drum and bass, as it is popularly known, is a genre of electronic music. So what makes it different from other electronic music is that it's characterized by breakbeat, fast breakbeat, which means that you get a high tempo and also you have a heavy bass line and samples and the synthesizer as well. So this music is phenomenal. It's the perfect definition of good, clean fun.
And what a lot of people don't know is that it started from Jamaican dub and reggae in the 1980s in England. A lot of electronic music actually did, like, you know, dubstep also originated from Jamaican dub.
So stylistically, it features similarities with jungle music, techno, electronica, and avant funk. Predominantly, you find this genre of music in the United Kingdom, and most of the artists come from there. But you have artists like Pendulum, for instance, who are from Australia, and it is so phenomenal. So here are a couple of songs that you could look out for. They're from new albums by Netsky and Subfocus and Wilkinson.
Yeah. So the first one we listened to was it's called Just Hold On.
Mm-hmm.
That was by Subfocus and Wilkinson, right?
From the album Portos, 2020. Just dropped a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we listened to a couple of them, but the reason why Just Hold On was like the favorite out of the Subfocus and Wilkinson was because it was catchy to me, you know? It was straight from the get-go. You get hooked, you know that it's going somewhere, you know that it's playful.
Emphatic vocals, and the message is so empowering. It takes you to a peak when you listen to the song. You just feel so recharged, rejuvenated, ready to take on the world.
Okay, what I sort of thought about the track in particular, it kind of sounds like something that would play in those old video games,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like Sega game or Nintendo game. You could just have it like in the background.
Mm-hmm. Usually a lot of these tracks have that arcade feel. For instance, if you listen to Grimes, for instance, or Princess Catgirl.
Her name is Princess Catgirl.
Her name is Princess Catgirl.
Okay.
Yeah, you get that arcade vibe to it, and I think if we look back at video games, really a lot of the music that we listen to today was incorporated into early video games, and I could get where you're coming from when you say you hear that sound.
And it's also it's mainly like instrumental, but at the same time the vocals are like inspirational, you know. I mean, it says in the title, doesn't it? Just hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like it's so relatable because a lot of people it's wild out here.
It is. I remember listening to a project called Mind State Volume 1, and I think that's the agenda that drum and bass music tries to push. It's to give you this mindset where you're tranquil and calm and just at peace with yourself and what's going on around you, in as much as the world could weigh heavily down on you.
Yeah. And at the same time, it kind of gets your heart pumping, you know, because it has what you said they're called breakbeats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has like a high tempo to it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, next track.
The next one we chose was Blend by Netsky, featuring Rudimental and Afronaut Zoo.
Yes.
Yeah, his name is exactly what you'd imagine, Afronaut Zoo.
Maybe he should have spelt it in full and said Afronaut Zulu or something.
Man, that's not what he was going for.
I think.
Was he, Was he? I don't know. We can't really speak to the mindset of people when they're picking out these names.
Yes, that would be pure speculation.
Okay, I don't know if this was just the rudimental influence of the track, but I noticed some like natural instruments.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I was hearing a trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, since it is electronic music, you just hear everything that generated from a computer or something.
Mm-hmm. I think the name of the song attests to the fact that you have these two gigantic artists who come together and try to create this piece of music. So their different artistries need to blend together in order to create the music, which is just brilliant. And Rudimental, I'm sure lots of people are aware of who Rudimental is. They've worked with Mr. Easy and Joe Boy and Davido, and
they did the track of Joe Boy.
Yes, they did on the new album.
All right.
Yeah.
I should try and listen to that.
Yeah. So look out for Rudimental.
I think like a lot of people, they tend to wonder like, why does electronic music like feature, reggae artists, dancehall artists, but like I think it's like sticking with the roots of the music, because that's where it initially came from, Hence why you find that it also flows so just naturally,
True. And also, it's surprising the fact that Jamaican influences could work so well with electronic music. You wouldn't think that the two would go hand in hand, but they actually do. And the results in most cases are absolutely mind-blowing, like the collaborations that Chase and Status have done, for instance.
I think, like, naturally, like, a lot of, can you say, I don't know what to really call it, but Afro music blends so well with electronic music. If you had like hip hop blended with EDM, like it always just flows so naturally. I think of that track, I think it was DJ Guetta and Sia, Bang Your Head Against the Wall. Like, you remember the way Fetty Wap just like fit into that?
Yes. Absolutely.
Can you think of other artists, like usually of an Afro-Caribbean descent, who have done tracks or naturally just do tracks with electronic music?
Well, Stefflon Don is one that comes to mind, having worked with Rudimental.
She's in the UK, so like you can see how she's rooted in that culture.
Yes, absolutely.
One that comes to mind is Flo Rida.
Yes.
Yeah. If anything, like all his big tracks have electronic music behind them.
Yeah.
And they're hits.
It's all in the name, isn't it? The Flow Rider. If you make songs for the dance floor, like go out and have a good old time.
I just thought his name was Florida.
I think there's a pun there.
There's a pun, right?
Yeah.
It took me a long time, don't blame me.
Yeah. Speaking of puns, Netsky, his name, it's just Skynet, but say it differently.
Didn't want to get sued or something.
No.
But what I liked about the blend track, it was also playful in its own way. You know, you could vibe to it, you could chill to it, you could drive to it, but it had a unique playfulness to it. Those are the type of tracks that, you know, can set your mood for the day to be like upbeat. Yeah.
Much credit goes to Rudimental for featuring on this song and bringing out the magic that they did. Rudimental are one of the acts that brought me onto drum and bass music. So to see them continue pushing the envelope and raising the bar so high after doing so many phenomenal things, it's incredible just to think where their career could go from this point on.
It's like, you know, you're already at the top. What else is there? But Rudimental, I mean, how many, is that a collective of people? Like a collective of DJs? Or like, how many of them are there?
You have 3 people in Rudimental.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 people. As far as their names go, I'm not well informed.
Okay.
Yes. But earlier you did ask a question about Afro-Caribbean descent and how they jump onto electronic music. And if you look at the discography of Major Lazer, you see lots of artists from LaRue to Chronix who jump onto these tracks and just blow them out the park, man. Do fantastic, incredible things.
And you're starting to see like you're starting to see that now Africans are getting onto this type of music as well. Like Particular, that we all know that song, like how big that was, and the fact that it was good. It was a great track as well.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know,
it wasn't any old track. It actually was a smash radio hit.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you go to like you can still go to places in Zambia where they would just be playing it.
Yes.
And, okay, it has kind of outworn its welcome, but like it's a very welcome installment to the EDM history, you know. For those of you who don't know, EDM is electronic dance music.
As a culture itself, it's such a beautiful thing to see all these people get together. And
why do you think it's taken so long? Okay, from what I know about drum and bass is, sure, it started to, you know, form from the 1980s, but it really started to take more shape in like the 90s with like jungle, and there was another one, some darkcore or something like that. But like, it's been around long enough. Okay, and why do you think it's taken so long for people to sort of catch on to it worldwide?
I think the evolution of drum and bass music has happened over such a long time, and the reason why it's become such a big thing now, I mean, I saw a tweet by Coven, and she was saying that within the next couple of years, drum and bass is going to be really big in the United States. I think over time the music has been refined, so the sound that you have now is different from projects you'd hear from acts like Noisia, for instance, or The Prodigy. So the sound has gone through a lot of tweaking and testing, and now it's in that sweet spot where when the project is done, people really gravitate towards it and enjoy it.
There's I can understand what you mean by like a lot of tweaking and refining. There's like so many subgenres of drum and bass. A lot to mention, but there's like breakcore, ragga jungle, hard step, dark step, tech step. There's just it's hard to keep track, but luckily for us, there's always somebody out there documenting these things.
Absolutely.
You never know if like once if like the growing in Africa like really takes off, you know, you'll start seeing subgenres created here.
Yes, and you'd find blends of the Afrobeat with the drum and bass. You know, you could find it in terms of like Afrofusion, how like it would be presented to us. So there's a lot of things that can happen with drum and bass, and it's a genre to watch very closely.
I think having somebody like Burna Boy, you know, in the few, isn't he on some EDM tracks? Okay, the one he did with Ed Sheeran and Stormzy. What was that one?
That one was called. That's the one where it's like your body's on fire because you own it.
Own it. Okay. That one's EDM, isn't it? It's sort of bordering onto it. It's touching it. But my point is like, since you have an artist of that caliber on who's that big, who is African, like jumping on these types of tracks, you might start to see like a following from their growing build.
Hopefully that would happen, because if you're talking drum and bass, like essentially what it is, it's something that evolved from the rave scene. So it's a new sound that takes its roots from like all the electronic music from back in the 80s, the 90s. And to have somebody like Burna Boy do a purely drum and bass track, it would be insane.
It would speak volumes.
It would. It would. But you have the major acts who are pushing the genre forward. Netsky, for instance, got sampled by Kanye West.
Oh, for real?
Yes, he did.
And like what track?
The track Bound. Bound, yes.
Okay.
The one where he had Kim Kardashian on the motorcycle in the video.
Man, I ain't seen it. But
yeah.
Wait, or have I?
Maybe, I'm sure you've seen it.
But like,
because
it's just past my mind.
Seth Rogen and James Franco did a parody of that. Yeah, they're topless on a motorcycle. And then they start to make out.
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah.
Bound. He
sampled Bound. So Netsky is a big deal. Kanye West is sampling his music. He's been at Tomorrowland, big festivals. He's the business.
Yeah, I guess producers as well, man. Because producers, at their core, they're supposed to be, you know, experimental, always trying to find the next sound, something that speaks to them, and they bring it to us, don't they? So it could definitely grow from them.
Without a doubt.
Okay, the third one. Okay, you must be right that Netsky is pretty dope, because we have another Netsky called Let Me Hold You with Hybrid Minds. Yeah, what did you think about this one?
This one I really liked because of Hybrid Minds. Hybrid Minds, they have a lot under their belt in terms of content, but in terms of popularity, Netsky trumps them. So to see this collaborative effort between a big artist and lesser known artists, it goes well together. And what I really liked about this song is it's uplifting. So the lyrics talk about when things are not going good and stuff like that, you let somebody hold you, have somebody express that love and affection that they have for you, and you could lose yourself within the company of another person.
It's great things that inspire love, right?
Yes,
I mean,
definitely.
that is. Could you argue that's like the essence of music, really?
It is.
Like to inspire love, know. Even like hip hop, as from where it came from, like they were oppressed and they wanted to express that. I feel like that in itself, that was a cry for love, like we shouldn't all be hating on each other, no matter how violent it kind of gets with the message.
Yeah, when you see how they embrace their culture with graffiti and with breakdance and with b-boying, all that stuff. So they had a thing going on, they had a way of life going on, rather, and they embraced that and they showcased that to the world. So instead of looking down on how different one person could be from another, you embrace who you are and you showcase that to the world. And drum and bass does that in a phenomenal way with just, the instrumentation with drum and bass, that is like the one thing, because naysayers would listen to drum and bass and say like, oh, but come on, every song sounds the same. It's the bass and it's the kicks and it's the hi-hats. But then if you listen to the instrumentation, just how much work and dedication goes into each note to bring out this piece of music, which is so good.
I feel like in itself, I feel okay, like in other genres, you would say like the person singing is like the main focus, really, it's the star of it. But with electronic music, you'll find that it's sort of like the instrument, which is the main focus, really, that you should pay attention to.
The most credit goes to the person who arranges the song together. Has that vision for the song, what the hook should be like, and what the verses come together like. Everything it's balanced to perfection.
Like if you, it sort of tells its own story in a way. This track by Subfocus and Wilkinson, Iluminate. What I picked up on it was that the vocals sort of sounded like they were under the beat, I felt like the way the song came out, it felt like that was done on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, for like... Yeah, because the beat and the instruments were like the main focus of it. And the vocals were sort of just like backing it up. Yeah.
I could get that effect because I'm sure what the producers did not want was to have the vocals steal the limelight from just how awesome the musical arrangement is. So you have in a sense, like, you listen to the vocals, but then you listen to them in the background. It doesn't steal the show away from the music itself. So you focus on the music, and perhaps in passing, you listen to the vocals and you glean what you can from them.
Yeah. If anything, it could also like the vocals could just seep in to you subconsciously as you're in flow.
Yeah.
Because in essence, right? I guess in genres like hip hop, when you have the vocals create that flow, but nothing flows more consistently than the instruments. So to have them emphasized above the vocals, you're in that constant state of flow. You're exactly in tune with the story that it's telling. Yeah.
There could be very little difference, if anything. I mean, there could be a world of difference if you listen to the track on its own and if you listen to the track with vocals, you know, because the vocals, they bring another dimension, they give personality and character to the track, but then the music on its own is brilliant enough to listen to. And you notice in lots of drum and bass songs, some of them don't even require vocals. It's just the sounds as they are, and they're put out just like that. You know, it's a testament to just how awesome this production is.
Yeah, they really must spend like, I know, the whole time in the studio playing with different. I guess you gotta love it to really, because drum and bass, the tracks are told like there's intricate tweaks and like moving in different ways, the layers of the instruments moving in different ways, and for all those layers to just sync together at the right time to create this masterpiece. Like you it's gotta be in the soul.
It really is. Well, one thing that's even more beautiful is watching a DJ play a set and seeing the DJ hop from these different tracks and keep the energy flowing and going, you know, not letting the bow drop, rather having different mixtures of sounds be infused with each other to just keep the mood up and keep the party going. It's such a great time watching.
I think what it must be, okay, although similar to like a DJ, but it's like different in the sense that they are still dictating the story to you because it's their music, and they want you to elevate with it, relax with it, you know, to create the most impact of that set that they're playing for you, you know?
Absolutely.
Yes, that's why you just, you know, you can literally have a sea or an ocean of people just going crazy to this one guy in front of a tape deck, you know,
pumping his fist into the air.
That's all he needs.
And the t-shirt machine, you know, the one that shoots out t-shirts into the crowd.
That's actually that's actually a thing, like in the sense that they do it at concerts. I thought it was just like at you know, sports. You know, you do that at halftime or something. You come with the t-shirt gun. But that would be cool, though.
That would be so cool.
Like, I mean,
which t-shirt would you want to get of all the drum and bass artists you know?
Okay, I started out with Subfocus, right? Like back in the day when I started with dubstep, Subfocus was out here dubstep remixes of Subfocus. So sure, that would be cool, but at the same time, I mean, I don't want to sound cliche, but Netsky sounds Netsky just sounds dope. Yeah, Netsky.
What I would love on a t-shirt is the album cover of Prodigy's No More Tourists. Okay. So the photo is taken in the nighttime, and you have the red buses, you know, the red bus tour, the one from London. Yeah, so that's on the cover, and it says No More Tourists. So that would just be awesome. I would really love that.
Okay, I was I was just thinking about the whole T-shirt gun thing. Like,
Uh-huh.
if we got one in Z, and artists started like shooting them, like how dope would that be?
That would be cool. That would be cool.
But someone would probably like break the gun. So,
Hey, they're probably thinking, why get the T-shirt gun when people could buy the T-shirts themselves, right?
but like the T-shirt gun itself, it also has a story to it, you know. Like I was at a Netsky Rudimental set and T-shirt shot up at me. And, like I caught it. Like that is a story, you know.
It is.
As opposed to I just went to the designated, you know, closed spot of the place and
Or went to the merchandise stand and bought a bracelet or something like that. That's your keepsake from the event.
yeah, definitely. I noticed that there was a boom of drum and bass. Like it really started to boom in 2016. So countries now like New Zealand, Czech Republic, not just the UK, but like Canada as well. Like they actually hold drum and bass festivals. You know. So how exciting must that be? A drum and bass festival.
That must be a once in a lifetime event. Like you be there and you have the time of your life. It must be over the moon. It must be such a surreal experience. The energy that must be in that room and seeing all these people around you just soaking in the vibes. It's
a life experience.
a life experience, absolutely.
You know, I think it's just as monumentous as like going to a Coachella or a Glastonbury. This is like drum and bass at its peak.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
The numbers also indicate that this genre is absolutely popular. For instance, Ultra Music Festival, UMF. The people who show out to these festivals are in the tens of thousands. And it's always such a great time. It's always such a great time. YouTube has some of these shows, right? So you could go on YouTube and you could see the entire set of a DJ at Ultra.
Ultra? That's a festival.
Yeah, that's a festival, Ultra.
Where is it usually held?
They switch it up from city to city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's usually big European cities, Oslo, Stockholm. Yeah.
Okay. Think about that as an adventure, guys. Stockholm. Drum and bass. Definitely would like to go to one of those. At big places like, big festivals like Coachella and Glastonbury, do they have like, because I know at Glastonbury they have like stages, right? Multiple stages, and you might find that multiple different genres, different acts are performing.
Yeah.
With different genres.
Then you have the headline.
Yeah. Do you think they have drum and bass?
Well, from what I've seen, what they usually do is you have a festival which goes on for like X number of hours, you know, probably from like early afternoon till early in the morning. So different DJs come out and they'll play like a 2-hour set or a 3-hour set, depending on how much material that they have. And you get these DJs doing the set and moving on, and another comes on and they do the set, and that's the format that is followed with these festivals, the drum and bass festivals.
Oh, we might even have a festival here one day.
Absolutely.
Didn't we tried to do that hip hop festival with Casper as the headliner?
Yeah, we did.
But you know the thing, could you really call that a festival? Because wasn't there just one stage, to be fair? There was a one stage. All the acts performed on that stage, and at the end, isn't that a concert, if anything?
Rather than a festival.
And it was one day, wasn't it? Not even the whole day, but like just from some time in the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if anything, wouldn't you say that hip hop is probably like the most popular form of music that there is worldwide? So lots of people would prefer to listen to hip hop, but as a matter of personal preference, I think electronic music should be pushed in this country, you know, because there's a lot of spaces that could be filled by electronic music. Even if you're going to incorporate hip hop into electronic music, like the way Inja does, for instance, it's a different take on the subject matter. It's different and it's new, so you could branch out and do something completely different.
Here's something to think about, right? You have, say you're a producer here in Zambia, or you're a hip hop artist here in Zambia, and you would want an international act to feature with you one day, right? I'd say there's more chances of you getting like a Justin Bieber or like a famous singer to feature with you if you are producing electronic music.
Yes, that is true.
Because it's so...
That is very, very true. Also, if you look at it in terms of market saturation, right? Hip hop it's filled, it's overflowing with artists.
Yeah, like...
You know, hit SoundCloud, for instance.
To the point where enough of them are doing it for free. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, I think electronic music, in a sense, is... I hope this is not a thought that will be deemed as too radical, but in a sense, it's pure, you know? Especially because of the emphasis on the sound.
I get what you mean. I mean, even since melody in itself is a part of us, you know, it's always been a part of us since we were children. I find that if I have different playlists for like different sections of my day, yes, I know, but it's you'll find that if I'm doing electronic music, it guides my day so well, it flows so well as a part, you know, as opposed to hip hop, which, you know, you listen to some hip hop, right, and then another hip hop track comes on, which sort of breaks the momentum of the last hip hop track, and you're sort of like, maybe not today, man, like, and you're kind of thrown off. Like, even I know it's not really advisable to listen to music when you read, unless it's like classical music or something. But electronic music, like, it helps you stay in the rhythm of that focus, you know?
What I love fundamentally is the positivity about electronic music. Like,
definitely the positivity.
Yeah.
Like, okay, there were some acts, like as drum and bass was coming up in the 90s, you know, which were associated with, you know, people associated them with violence, mainly because of like what they would sample, you know, and it's because like street gangs in London, you know, they'd also take up to it. So conservative people naturally just thought, okay, this is violent music. But the way it is now, like in this era, in the 20s, as you can say, it's always just so positive,
It is.
uplifting. Like, try and find tracks which are just
I could give you one example off the bat. David Guetta and Sia, the new record that's out. It's called Let's Love. And the message is like, let's love, you know? Let's throw away all that hatred and bad vibes and bad mouthing, all of that. Just love, love, love. Simple and plain.
and the reason why I feel like it has so much more longevity is because you can come up with an infinite number of upbeat tracks and, and melodies and instruments.
Yes.
And okay, like you, for example, Let Me Hold You. You might find that the hook is repetitive because they just say "Let me hold you," and it's this loving beat in the back, but that won't get old.
It won't.
Because of the back, as opposed to R&B, right? Nah, I ain't hating on the R&B. I love my R&B. R&B is dope, but I find that with R&B, you always have to find a new and a clever way of saying, "Baby, let me love you." You know, like,
could you be my new flame? For instance,
like, in a way that it hasn't been said before. You have to think about, has this been played out? You know, but with instruments, you could go on forever.
Absolutely, definitely. It's so phenomenal. So phenomenal.
So apart from Subfocus and Wilkinson and Netsky and Netsky, Rudimental, what other acts or artists from drum and bass can you recommend for someone who's like just getting into it?
Okay. You have Fred V and Graphics.
Okay, I've heard of them.
Fred V and Graphics are super dope. So that's a duo. Fred V on the one hand and Graphics on the other. They each have separate projects. They've done solo projects. So those are dope. You could also look at Nero, who is a personal favorite.
Nero.
Nero.
Nero's dope.
Nero are the truth. Also the usual suspects. Chase and Status. They're good. Away from drum and bass, electronically, an act that makes such good music is Flume.
Flume, yeah.
Yes, Flume. Flume are brilliant.
They won a Grammy, didn't
Flume won a Grammy for Best Dance Album a couple of years back for their album Skin.
I found them incredibly creative.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, stepping away from drum and bass, I think if you want to get started, especially as an African, because I'm an African, I would suggest Major Lazer.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Major Lazer.
Yeah, and chances are you already know who Major Lazer are. It's very likely that you do. So
not a lot of people know this. Do you remember the Baby Cry song?
From Major Lazer?
Yes, Major Lazer have a song called Baby Cry. There was that thing back in the day, Baby Cry. You know, the baby who's crying and the auto-tune voice? Yeah, Major Lazer did a track sampling that Baby Cry. And it's not all the way that bad. And at the end of the song, Lil Jon does a feature.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're rocking with Major Lazer, baby.
Practicing your impression. But I've seen that electronic music samples a lot of things that have been done, because there's like a lot of things in our day-to-day lives that happen. As you know, like people love to do electronic versions of events that have just happened. And then it becomes like a meme. It goes viral. You know, someone is saying this, and they create a mix of it. You know, creating a whole track of it.
Yes. Artists like Clean Bandit, for instance.
Clean Bandit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clean Bandit.
Clean Bandit is so good.
So good.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with Clean Bandit. You know, their feature catalog is expansive.
What's that other track that? No, not the track. Group. It's an Asian group. They do. Didn't they make? I don't know. Fly.
Like a G6.
Like a G6.
Far East Movement.
Far East Movement. Come on. No one can lie to me. That Like a G6 track was banging in Lusaka. I was here. I was hearing it. No, Hollywood. I was hearing it. I was hearing it in Chilanga, man. So you can't tell me you did not feel that track. So Far East Movement, if you want to get into electronic music as well. Like in terms of other electronic genres to cover in the future, no, obviously I'd want to cover some dubstep.
Without a doubt.
People love house. You know, so I'm sure people would like to know more about house, so they can keep up with Chilanga Converses to hear us do a segment on that.
Yeah.
What other ones could we do?
You could look at so many to pick from. We're not going to go into any of the nasty stuff. Like death step or anything like that.
That's a thing. That's a thing.
Yes.
Death step.
Yes.
Okay. I think maybe leave that one. So would death step be like the metal version of EDM? You know how rock and roll has all those different ones, but then you got heavy metal. Would that be? It'll
definitely fit into that category. For instance, I listened to an artist called Gravedigger. You know?
Like,
maybe we're going too far with this. Yeah.
No, it's there. You know, just in case we can, you know, keep people from going down the pitfalls of electronic music.
Yes.
We do not need to be blamed for people going into death step.
Yeah. Don't stray off the reservation.
You heard us preach love and unity.
Positivity all the time.
Wait, that's how we're trying to keep it, guys. Maybe you might hear sangomas go into it, you know, just no offense to all the sangomas out there if you guys are listening. But I guess there's a little something for everybody, isn't there?
Yeah, there is definitely.
All right, so I think we have covered today drum and bass. That's been the entire segment, hasn't it?
It has. It's just a shame that due to copyright issues and other legal conundrums, some of this music couldn't be played on here so that you listen and get a feel for yourself of what the songs are like, because they're really good. I could guarantee you the first 30 seconds in, you're going to be hooked. Yeah. And you want to listen and listen and listen some more. It's such a refreshing genre to listen to. It's unlike anything I've ever heard. If anything, the closest thing I could ever remember hearing close to drum and bass as I was growing up is the intro music for the Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
Yes, and it had that fast break beat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's the closest thing. But otherwise, besides that, this genre is like, it's nouveau.
Okay. For those of you who didn't really hear us say the titles and the names and everything, we'll put the names of the tracks and the artists in the description, and hopefully you guys can check it out and let us know exactly how drum and bass has influenced you for the better.
Yes.
It's a note for any people who just want to complain to us about drum and bass. We didn't make it, okay? So if you
just listen to it.
If you got complaints, please. I think the artists have emails or something. We're just guys who review, listen, talk about. Yeah, all right. This has been Chilanga Converses with your man, Mr. Pars, Sunday, and
Mulundu.
Okay.
Chilanga Converses. Conversing.